the Dirty Nil dropped their new album, The Lash. We had Luke from the Dirty Nil on the podcast. This is now the third record in a row where we have sat down and chatted with Luke. And this is my favorite conversation that we've gotten to have with him, because I could tell how excited he was to talk about the music. And I even said that in the interview, because they literally made a post on Instagram that was like, if you have a podcast, we want to chat about this record. We're very excited about it. So it's like, I didn't make that up. It was right in front of me, and I read it right before we hopped in. But he was just very excited to talk about it. It made me excited for the album, to listen to it again, because we had obviously heard it going into the interview, but to listen to it again, and I can hear that excitement come through this record. Like, it's just, you can tell they're having a shitload of fun making this album, and that makes me have fun listening to it, because now that I know that they were that they had a great time, and Luke said that this is his favorite album that he's gotten to work on, and all of these things. Now, knowing all that and hearing it, I'm like, damn, this record is such a fun album to listen to, and I really enjoy it. It's such a solid, punk record. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The songs are all very short and compact and quick, and they say what they got to say, and they get out as quick as possible. And I really appreciate that, because it keeps the record moving. There's no moments on here where I'm like, holy fuck, this thing is dragging on. It just, like I said, it gets in, gets out. Opening up with Gallop of the Hounds is a great opener, and one of the longest songs on the record. A lot of these clock in at 2 minutes ish, and that one clocks in at 3:30. Fail in Time, is a great 1-2 punch. I really like Rock and Roll Band and Do You Want Me. Those are both on the shorter side, and the literal definition and kind of getting to the point. Do You Want Me is kind of just repeating that phrase, and it's still dope as shit. I'm not one to really enjoy songs like that, but though that song's dope as shit. And then I Was a Henchman to tie things together and close the record off, is a phenomenal closer, and really seals the deal on this. But like I said, it's just a fun punk record that you can tell they had a shitload of fun making, and that makes it fun for me.
This record is such like a rock and roll record. I think it's awesome. The second half, the B-side, was definitely my personal favorite. They Won't Beat Us, Hero Narrative, and I Was a Henchman are my personal favorites off the record. Those are the last three. I think the record is definitely, as I said, it's just rock and roll. I don't know how else to describe it. There are definitely some punkier tracks, but I think it's an evolution. It's a maturing stepping stone record compared to the first time we spoke to Luke, which was Fuck Art, the one with the little doggy on the front. Hell yeah. Just thinking of that record, and it could also just be my brain telling me this song was way different just because of the cover arts. But it's also, I think after, I really enjoyed Fuck Art. I thought that record was incredible. Doom Boy, which I think was one of their biggest tracks off the record, was like my top song from that year. I could still sing it word for word, bar for bar, because I listened to it so much back then. But the direction of this record seems just a bit grittier. It seems not as like polished and not as like refined and clean cut. It's, as I said, it just feels grittier, and I fucking love that for them. I think this fits their brand and their look so much that I'm very happy with how this record turned out. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, and ditto on the grit, because like, Luke mentioned there was no big fancy studio this time around. They did that with the last record. They went to that big fancy studio, got the sound that they wanted to get, different guitars on every single track, different amps and all that shit, miking it up in different ways. And this time around, they just went to the producer that they do their demos with back home to record this full record, which kind of gives like that DIY grit element to the songs, which again just kind of adds to the fun element for me, because it still sounds phenomenal. The producer did a phenomenal job, but yeah, it just adds to that, that grit and like that punk energy that I'm getting from the album. highly recommend this. They're touring a shitload across all sorts of different continents. So just
they're about to kick off their Canadian tour with Heart Attack Man.
Yeah, so just peep the dates. I'm sure they're coming to a city near you because this band has been touring nonstop. We shot the interview in April because they've just been touring since pretty much since then.
Yeah, it's awesome.